Hello and welcome to today's webinar entitled Maximize Your Smartsheet Experience. I'm Erin on the product team, and today we're going to discuss what Smartsheet is and what problems it helps you solve, how it impacts your business. We're also going to walk through a Smartsheet solution example and highlight some important features, and we're going to review some next steps on how to get started. So first off, let's talk about what is Smartsheet and what kind of problems is it trying to solve. So what we find is that businesses today are struggling to execute work faster and to effectively collaborate with both internal teams and with external customers. And that's because a majority of work today is unstructured and doesn't naturally fit into purpose-built software. So you may have an ERP system that manages financial data or a CRM system that manages sales transactions, but that's only a portion of the actual work getting done. All the rest of that 60% is unstructured and dynamic, so solutions are cobbled together using email and a bunch of other applications that really make real-time visibility and collaboration near impossible, and definitely doesn't scale beyond a couple people. So this leads executives to feel like they're flying blind without the information they need to make decisions quickly. Smartsheet is a cloud-based work execution platform that addresses this problem and fundamentally changes the way businesses get work done. Smartsheet allows you to easily plan, manage, and report on work at scale, all from a single platform, which enables teams to collaborate with speed and accountability, automate work processes so you're taking out that manual element, and get real-time visibility into those things that matter most so that you can make better decisions faster and deploy with confidence. Smartsheet really helps you and your team move from idea to impact fast. And our clients use Smartsheet for a wide range of initiatives, all the way from employee or customer onboarding to marketing campaigns, to retail store openings, to project management, to HR and financial budget management, to different industry verticals. Really, the possibilities are endless. It doesn't matter what type of role you're in or what type of organization you're in. If you have work that needs to get done, Smartsheet can help you do that. So now that we've had a conceptual understanding of what Smartsheet is and the kind of things it tries to solve, let's actually jump into an actual example to give you some more context. So the example I'd like to walk through is actually a very common use case. Do you ever have work processes where you have to collect information from people, whether it's IT requests or marketing requests or event registrations or survey feedback, you name it, and then you have to do something with that information? Perhaps you need to get some approvals on that information to move it forward in your process, or you have to report out on results. Well, request management is a very common workflow that we see no matter what industry or department you're in. And the way that we structure request management in Smartsheet takes on some very familiar concepts. So the first part of any kind of request management process is going to be to collect that information from people, whether it's, like I said, an IT request or a marketing request, or maybe you have an event that you have people registering for. Smartsheet has built-in forms that allow you to easily collect information from anyone, no matter who they are, whether they have a Smartsheet account or not. They don't even have to know what Smartsheet is. They can get a form via email, they can fill it out on a dashboard, in a published website, you name it. What we like to do once we get that information is put it into a sheet. And a sheet is really the foundation of our work in Smartsheet. And a sheet is where all of our data actually lives. So a sheet is where we're going to organize and prioritize that information, and where we're actually going to do a majority of the work in terms of assigning tasks to people or moving things through our process. And we have a lot of capability at the sheet level where we can look at our work in different views, where we can set some automated rules to help manage things, to help us manage that work. And then the next step is usually we want to aggregate and calculate some of that data. So we may build a report to help us answer some key business questions about what's happening in our work. Or we may calculate some additional metrics. We can put that in another sheet, we can put it somewhere else, so that we can kind of figure out exactly what's happening at that high level. And then we want to communicate that information out to our different stakeholders. And a dashboard is a really valuable communication tool because that allows us to share just the most important information to the right people at the right time. And what's nice about this process is that it is a true process that's cyclical and continues to run. So as information comes in, it moves information through the process, and then as you can enter new information from the dashboard, and it kind of continues to repeat itself. So it's really an easily sustainable and scalable process as well. So let's actually jump into Smartsheet and take a look at this. I'm going to jump into Smartsheet here, and actually I'm going to start by looking at the dashboard. So this is actually the dashboard in my request management process. And what's nice about this dashboard, and I also want to highlight that the example that I'm using today is actually a template that you can download in Smartsheet. We'll talk more about that at the end of the webinar today on how to get that. But what's nice about this dashboard is it gives me real-time visibility into what's happening at a high level across my process. Now, what's nice about dashboards in Smartsheet is they're completely customizable, and you have several different types of widgets that you can use to create your dashboard. So if I click Edit here at the top and click Add Widget, you can see that we have 8 different widget types that I can use, whether they're metric or chart widgets. Maybe I want to create shortcuts to other items. I want to embed a report or an image or some text, or even I can embed other web content directly into my dashboard. So I can embed videos or presentations or a Smartsheet form, which we'll take a look at. These widgets, of course, are highly customizable, and I can set up my dashboard very easily to look at what I want to look at. And all of my charts, of course, and my reports, these are live data, and they're actually linked to the underlying data. I can also make my dashboards dynamic and interactive. So say, for example, I click on this, I want to go see the underlying sheet, and then I can easily go back to the dashboard, but I actually have some interactive capabilities. So my dashboard really is there to help communicate to whoever I share it to the key information that I need them to have visibility to make data-driven decisions. And as I mentioned with dashboards, I also have this ability to embed say presentations. Maybe I want to put some slide decks in there or a video that I can play, as well as I can embed a form. So coming back to my example, and this is my request management example. Let's say in this scenario, I work for my company's procurement team. And as procurement, we are tasked with making purchases for the company. So we get a bunch of requests from different departments for different purchases that they want made. So let's go ahead, and if I am an employee or a department head within an organization and I want to make a procurement request, I can actually come directly to the dashboard, and then I can type in my request. So in this example, let's say that Sally is putting in a request. She works on the operations team, and she's putting in a request to renew their maintenance contract. Notice how easy it is to fill this in, and she probably needs this to be done by the end of the month, and so she's going to flag this as urgent. And of course, she's going to put her manager in, which will be me, and she can even attach a file. So she can attach that maintenance agreement directly to the form, and she can go ahead and submit that form. Notice it tells her that the form's been submitted, and that again kind of kicks off this process. So if I then on the procurement team, I'm actually going to jump over to my request tracker sheet here, and I can see this is the sheet that as I mentioned, sheets are where all of your data actually lives, and this is the sheet where that request is going to come in. And I can see actually here's a notification, changes have been made. I hit refresh here, and I can see that the new request that Sally put in is now entered into the sheet. Also notice that it's highlighted in red, and that's because I have my urgent flag here, and we have on this sheet set up a conditional formatting rule. Conditional formatting is a great way to give visual indicators on your sheet that there's something important to take a look at. So if urgent is flagged, then I want the text to be red and I want it to stand out. So I have a quick visual indicator that, hey, this thing is urgent. Additionally, you'll notice that in the manager approval status, I have a little alert here that says approval request has been submitted. And this is where automation, again, really plays a key part. So not only are we using conditional formatting rules to automate our formatting, but under alerts and actions here, we've actually set up some rules on the sheet to take the manual out of this process. So we know if something is urgent, we need the department manager to approve it. So in our alerts and actions, we have set up, I'll go ahead and open this rule so you can see it, what's called an approval request. And we have several different types of rules that we can set up, and it's a logic rule. So it says when the urgent flag is flagged, we want to send this approval request to the department manager, whoever's in that field. We want to send it right away. And we've even created kind of a custom message that we want. And so we can see now that this automated approval request has already been submitted. So as soon as Sally submitted that form and she flagged that it's urgent, it's kicked off two things. One, it's kicked off that conditional formatting where I have some color coding and some visual display. It's also kicked off this approval request to the manager, who happens to be me. And as the manager, I will be able to see that approval requests show up in my notifications. It can also come to me via email. It can come to me on my mobile device. I have a lot of flexibility in how I have access to that. It can come to me through a messaging app, but I can see it here in my notification center at the top. So if I open my notification center, I can see there's a manager approval request that is submitted to me. I can open that request directly from the notification center. It will show me all the information that Sally submitted. I can go in and then I can say, this is approved, and I can click the approved button. And it shows me that this update is complete. And now when I go back to the sheet, I can see I get a message that's telling me some changes have been made. I refresh again. And now notice that the status of this urgent request has changed to approved. I also have some additional conditional formatting here that highlights that cell to be green. So that again gives me also a visual indicator. This is approved to move forward. Now, as the owner of this process, I can go in and then I can decide to assign this task to someone. And Smartsheet's very smart. We have the ability to see people as well as their associated email addresses, which helps us track some information and helps us to easily collaborate with our different stakeholders in our process. So I can go ahead and I can assign this task to Alexandra. I can say it's not started yet. We'll start it today. And there is also an alert that's automatically going to go to Alexandra and tell her that something has been assigned to her. So she's automatically going to get an email or a notification that tells her that, hey, this task has been assigned to you. Also in my row, I can see the maintenance agreement that was submitted, and it's attached right here. And in the comments, I can actually see also the manager approval that this has been approved. And I can also add an additional comment, and I can mention Alexandra, who have I assigned to this task, and I can say, see contract attached to request. And I can post that, and Alexandra then will also get that message directly to her, telling her to make sure she checks the contract that's attached. What we've done is easily managed this data coming in. We have an easy way to track it, and we've automated a lot of the process to take the manual out of it. So we're letting Smartsheet do that work for us in terms of getting the right information to the right people at the right time. Another really powerful thing about Sheets is that they're flexible in how you can work and manage your information. So we've been working in this sheet so far in grid view, which is your standard column and row format that you may be familiar with. But we have several other ways that you can manage your work. So for example, I can flip this sheet to a Gantt view if I want to see my work in a timeline and better understand how tasks fit together. What the Gantt view also allows me to do is easily create relationships between tasks. So especially if in project management scenarios where one task can't start until another one's completed, that sort of thing, the Gantt view makes it very easy to visually understand and set up those relationships. I can also view my sheet in a card view, which is really valuable, especially in terms of prioritization and organization of work. Okay, maybe I want this task to happen before this task in progress. And I have several different ways that I can view that, again, depending on what information I have in my sheet. So this card view we can view by status, we can view by request type, we can view by department. Again, just kind of see where things lie. Let's go back to status for a second here. And in terms of prioritization and organization, we can see that our renew building maintenance contract request, which we've just approved and assigned to Alexandra, currently not started. But if Alexandra decides she's going to get started, she can come in and she can simply move it to in progress. And what that does is that is live and that does update that information. So if we move back to our grid view, we now see that the task is assigned in progress. Last but not least, we have our calendar view, which gives us visibility over time of all of the tasks that are happening and gives us that high-level calendar view. So we can see, okay, right now we are scheduling about 2 weeks for that renewal of that maintenance contract to get done. And of course, we can adjust that in here if we need to. We can come in, we can change some of the dates, we can adjust some of the information as necessary, but it gives us that visibility really quickly and easily to do that. Now that we've talked through some of the powerful things that we can do with sheets, let's come back to our process and talk about the next step, which is to answer some key business questions and maybe do some aggregation and calculation on our data. So if we jump back to our dashboard here, we can see that we have some charts that are giving us some high-level information about how our process is going, who's assigned, what stage things are in. And then we also have a report here that gives us some critical information about the tasks that are currently open. And this is important because we want to share with our stakeholders, we want to give them visibility into which of their requests are open so that they know where their requests stand. So let's actually open the report itself. Now, reports are really valuable for surfacing key information to answer a business question. In this report, if we open up the report builder, we can see that we have the ability to create the criteria to answer our question. And in this case, what we are looking for is we want to see any of the requests that have come in that are still not complete. So we're looking for a status is in progress or not started. We can go ahead and run that, and it's just going to pull those requests that are in that status. We can also easily update that report criteria if we want to drill deeper into our question. Say I want to see things that are still not complete, but maybe are part of Lori's department. I can come in and I can look at Lori, and I can add that as a criteria. Notice it's going to drill down, and now it's only going to show me the requests that are open that are part of Lori's department. So reports are very easy to build, and you can build several reports. They can pull data from a single sheet, or you can pull data from multiple sheets. I can have a report that pulls data from 10 sheets or 50 sheets or even 100 sheets to answer those key business questions across all of that information. Reports also function bidirectionally, so any updates you make to a report are automatically updated back to the sheet. So say, for example, this task, this new electronic signature software moves from in progress to closed. I can go ahead and save that on my report. And now if I go back to the request tracker sheet, I can see that that task has now been changed to closed. Therefore, Reports also make it really easy to manage and update data across multiple sheets from that single report. Then if I come back into my dashboard here, I also see that the report is live on my dashboard, so it's going to display the information that meets the criteria. Additionally, I also have some key metrics that I'm pulling in to my dashboard where I want to kind of track performance, and those I use formulas to calculate. And I can put those formulas, of course, in my tracker sheet, but that's going to take up a lot of space in my tracker sheet. So instead, I just created a separate sheet where I'm actually running my calculations. And I have cross-sheet formulas, so it makes it very easy to pull in information from other sheets and then do some aggregation and calculation. So it gives me a really easy way to cleanly aggregate and calculate my data. And then, of course, I can use that data to put into my dashboard and or to populate some charts within my dashboard. So let's just kind of take a look at this again. So this is the workflow we just walked through. And we've seen an example of this request process where we have a complete dashboard, a form, we have related project sheets, we have automated workflows, and we have reports. But as I mentioned, this is only one example out of thousands of possible workflows that you can create with sheets, reports, and dashboards. You can use Smartsheet's assets to create really robust solutions, from PMO to client implementations to store openings, as we talked about, or even use it as a lightweight CRM. The possibilities are truly endless because Smartsheet really has all the tools in one platform to help you effectively capture, automate, plan and manage, report, and scale on your work. Another thing that we didn't have time to mention in this demo, but it's important to note, is that Smartsheet has the ability to seamlessly integrate with the other business tools that you use on a daily basis, which allows you to get work done in context without switching from one app to the next or having to copy and paste critical information. So if you're a Microsoft user or a Google user, or if you use Salesforce or Box or Dropbox or Google Hangouts or OneDrive or Tableau or Okta or Jira or plenty of others that are not on this slide, Smartsheet makes that transition of information and that communication between the apps you use most really seamless and easy. If you'd like to learn more about Smartsheet, some of the functionality that we talked about today, as well as explore potential solutions, I encourage you to visit our Learning Center at smartsheet.com/learning center. It's full of tutorials, help articles, and downloadable templates, including the request management template set that we used for the webinar today. And if you have additional questions or you want to better understand how Smartsheet can help you with your own custom solution, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help. You can reach out to your account manager, and if you're not sure who that person is, you can email us at sales@smartsheet.com, and we'll get you in touch with the right person. As I mentioned, today we just explored one of thousands of possibilities of how Smartsheet can help you and your team move from idea to impact fast. Thank you so much for joining us today.